They told you to be realistic, to play it safe, to wait your turn, to stay in line, to keep your voice down and not want too much from life. And maybe for a while you believed them. But somewhere, buried beneath the dust of conformity, the weight of expectation, and the fear that comes from years of conditioning, there's a spark, a whisper, a pulse of something ancient and untamed, roaring through your bones, screaming, "There is more to you than this. You weren't born to be average. You weren't designed to be a shadow in someone else's dream. You weren't meant to drift, to settle, to coast through this life waiting for permission. You were built to master yourself, and through that mastery command your destiny." This isn't about motivation. It's about transformation. It's not about chasing success. It's about becoming the kind of person success is drawn to as surely as the sun rises to meet the horizon. And it begins, not with action, but with a war inside the mind. Because before any great empire was ever built, before Carnegie forged steel, before Edison lit the world, before Ford made horsepower affordable, there was a man, alone, battling his own doubt, his own fear, his own inner voice that whispered, "Who do you think you are?" And that is the voice that decides your life. Mastering that voice, not silencing it, but dominating it with clarity, conviction, and vision, is the first gate of the path from average to unstoppable. You see, mediocrity has a language. It speaks in excuses, in delays, in maybe later, and I'm not ready. But mastery, true self-mastery, speaks a different tongue. It speaks in decisions, not feelings, in standards, not moods, in discipline, not drama. Because here's the truth, they won't teach you in school. You don't become great by doing what feels good. You become great by doing what's necessary, whether it feels good or not. The mind is the forge, and belief is the flame. What you believe about yourself will determine the doors you walk through, and the ones you never even try to open. Henry Ford, who built an empire from an idea, said it best, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." But let's go deeper. It's not just about belief, it's about identity. Because a man or woman who knows who they are will not be shaken by failure. They will not be seduced by applause nor broken by rejection. They don't ask the world, "Who should I be?" They declare to the world, "This is who I am." And that identity, it's not inherited. It's not downloaded. It's not found. It's forged through trials, pain, persistence, and the unrelenting decision to keep showing up long after the average person would have walked away. Clarity is the next weapon in your arsenal, because you cannot hit a target you cannot see. And most people, they're wandering, drifting, scrolling, waiting. They're not living, they're reacting. Like a ship at sea without a compass, being blown by winds they'll never control. But when you get clear, truly clear on what you want, why you want it, and who you must become to get it, everything shifts. The fog lifts, the distractions fall away, and discipline no longer feels like sacrifice, it feels like alignment. Clarity gives birth to purpose, and purpose fuels perseverance. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Thomas Edison was labeled too stupid to learn anything. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, suffered a nervous breakdown, and kept going because they were clear. Clear on who they were, clear on where they were going, and clear that every failure was not a verdict, it was a forge. Now hear me when I say this. Vision is not a luxury, it is your survival. Without vision, your life becomes a series of reactions. With vision, your life becomes a masterpiece of intention. But vision must be backed by action. And that's where most fall. They believe if they think it long enough, want it hard enough, wish it deeply enough, the world will reward them. But the universe doesn't respond to desire. It responds to motion. Self-mastery begins when you stop negotiating with your laziness. When you stop making peace with your limitations. When you stop trying to feel like it and start acting like it's already yours. Do you think a warrior in battle waits until he feels inspired to draw his sword? Do you think greatness waits for the perfect conditions? Number It moves. It acts. It creates momentum, even in chaos. Discipline is doing it when you don't feel like it. When it's raining, when you're tired, when no one claps, when no one sees, when everyone doubts even you. Because discipline is how you tell the universe, I am ready. Not with your words, but with your walk. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them misunderstand you. That's part of the cost. Part of the tax for becoming legendary. Because average will always mock what it doesn't understand. But you weren't built for their approval. You were built for the mission, the dream, the vision that was planted in you, not by chance, but by destiny. And yes, you will fall. You will fail. You will break. But breaking is not the end. It's the beginning. Because what breaks you, if you face it, reshapes you. Resilience is not bouncing back. It's coming back wiser, sharper, more dangerous than before. And every scar, every setback, every moment where you thought, this is it, I'm done, was a test. Not of your ability, but of your will. Will you stay down? Will you sell your soul for comfort? Will you betray your own potential just to avoid discomfort? Or will you rise? Will you look that pain in the face and say, thank you, now watch me work? Because here's the brutal truth. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. And self-mastery begins the moment you make discomfort your teacher. Not your enemy, not your punishment, but your teacher. The discomfort of early mornings, the pain of pushing past your limits, the tension of walking alone when others turn away, the fear of not knowing how and doing it anyway. That is the classroom of the unstoppable. And most will never step foot in it. But you're not most. You're still here, still listening, and that tells me something. You're ready to stop waiting, to stop playing small, to stop living on autopilot, hoping that maybe someday something will change. Nothing will change until you do. And the change doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. In the discipline no one sees. In the choices no one celebrates. In the promises you keep to yourself long after motivation fades. That is where power is born. Because the world doesn't reward the one who wants it the most. It rewards the one who's become relentless in the pursuit, the one who does not beg for opportunity but builds it brick by brick out of sweat, grit, and the audacity to believe they're meant for more. You see, there's a lie they've fed you, that some people are just special. That greatness is handed down like a family heirloom. That success is reserved for the chosen few, the genetically gifted, the born lucky. Number. Greatness is not inherited. It is earned. Not in loud declarations, but in quiet devotion. Devotion to the craft. Devotion to the process. Devotion to the version of yourself that's still out there waiting to be claimed. Self-mastery is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling your response to it. The storm is inevitable, but who you are inside the storm, that's the measure of your power. It's when everything falls apart and you choose to rebuild. It's when they leave and you refuse to abandon yourself. It's when the voice in your head tells you to quit and you stand anyway, like a mountain in the wind, unshaken, unyielding, unapologetically present. But this path isn't built on strength alone. It's built on humility, the kind that says, I don't know everything, but I can learn anything. You want to go from average to unstoppable? Then fall in love with learning. Not the kind found in textbooks or degrees, the kind you earn in the trenches, in the failures, in the uncomfortable truths you'd rather not face. Every rejection is a lesson. Every betrayal is a teacher. Every delay is a mirror asking, do you want it bad enough to grow into it? Because there are no shortcuts. Only the long road and the strong mind required to walk it. And the most powerful mind isn't the one filled with facts, it's the one sharpened by adaptability. Because success never comes in a straight line. Sometimes the plan fails. Sometimes the door closes. Sometimes the dream breaks apart right in your hands. And when that happens, as it surely will, you must ask, will I bend or will I break? Adaptability is the silent strength of the elite. It's why the eagle flies through the storm instead of hiding from it. It's why water carves through rock, not with force, but with persistence. And when you combine persistence with purpose, you become dangerous, not to others, but to doubt, to mediocrity, to every false belief that said, you'll never make it. But none of this means anything without gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Not the kind written in journals and forgotten. The kind that pulses through your blood. The kind that says, I may not be there yet, but I am alive. I am becoming. I am still in the fight. Gratitude is power. Because a grateful heart cannot be bitter. It cannot be entitled. It cannot be broken by what it doesn't have because it's too focused on what it's building. When you wake up and give thanks for your breath, your struggle, your path, even the pain, you take back control. You rise above the victim mindset. You stop waiting for life to give you something. You start giving yourself to life. And that shift, that small internal shift, is where empires begin. Look around you. Everything you see, every building, every song, every invention, every revolution, started as a thought. One thought, held long enough, fueled with belief, fed with discipline, and pushed into the world with fearless execution. That means your thoughts are seeds. Plant carefully, tend daily. Uproot the weeds of doubt and comparison before they take root, because you are not competing with anyone else. You are not here to copy, to follow, to replicate someone else's path. You are here to become undeniably, unforgettably, unapologetically you. And when you do that, when you stop chasing validation and start living in your own alignment, you unlock a flow no one can touch. A flow where work becomes worship, where progress becomes purpose, where even pain becomes sacred because you know it's shaping you. This isn't about ego. It's about truth. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack consistency. It's not the massive moves that make you unstoppable. It's the tiny choices, the boring ones, the unsexy ones, the no one's watching ones. Do I get up or hit snooze? Do I scroll or study? Do I blame or build? Do I retreat or rise? Those choices stacked daily become your character. And your character will always determine your fate. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You need more decisions made in alignment with your higher self. Because you're not here to just survive. You're here to rise, to evolve, to burn through the fog of mediocrity with a fire so fierce it lights up everyone who comes near you. Let them call it obsession. Let them call it delusion. Let them call it impossible. And while they talk, you build. You become. And one day they'll ask how you did it. And the answer will be simple. I became the master of myself, and everything else followed. But self-mastery isn't a crown you wear. It's a battle you fight daily, in silence. No applause. No audience. No trophy. It's the moment you say no to that old habit, not once, but every single time it rises. It's catching yourself in the lie of, I'll do it tomorrow, and replying, number, I do it now. It's rewriting the story you were handed by your past, your pain, your upbringing, and scripting a new one with blood and courage. Because yes, it takes courage. Not the kind that charges into war, but the kind that looks into the mirror and says, I take full responsibility for who I am becoming. Do you know how rare that is? Most people would rather blame than build. They would rather be a victim than a creator. It's easier to say, I never got my chance, than to stand up and take it. But if you're listening to this, I know something about you. You're not here to be comfortable. You're here to be changed. Because you felt it. That restlessness, that pull, that quiet ache in your chest every time you settle for less than what you were born to be. It's not ambition. It's not ego. It's the truth inside you trying to be remembered. And that truth knows no one is coming to save you. No mentor, no friend, no lover, no miracle. There is no savior. There is you and the fire you build in your soul. Because once you ignite that fire truly, fiercely, without apology, the world cannot put it out. They'll try. With criticism, with doubt, with noise, with their own fear disguised as advice. But you won't be listening anymore. You'll be too focused, too committed, too busy becoming the version of yourself that makes them believe again. Because when you rise, you don't just change your life. You change what's possible for everyone watching. You become proof that it's possible to grow up broken and still heal, to be doubted and still deliver, to fail and fail and fail and still win. And that kind of proof is rare. It's magnetic. It's unstoppable. So ask yourself now, who must I become to deserve the life I want? Not what do I need to do. Who must I become? Because the doing flows from the being. You want wealth? Then become someone who thinks, acts, speaks, plans, and executes like a person of value. You want love? Then become someone who leads with wholeness, not desperation. You want freedom? Then become someone disciplined enough to earn it. This is self-mastery. Not chasing the fruits, but becoming the kind of tree that naturally bears them. You don't have to force what you're aligned with. When your thoughts, emotions, actions, and standards are all aligned, you don't chase success. You attract it. But alignment is not passive. It is earned, and it is maintained through daily choices. That's the difference between average and unstoppable. Average people wait for motivation. Unstoppable people create rituals, standards, non-negotiables. They don't hope they'll do it. They decide they must. It's brushing your teeth not because it's exciting, but because it's identity. It's showing up for your workout, your business, your relationships, your purpose, not when it's easy, but because it's who you are now. And when it becomes who you are, it no longer requires effort. It becomes automatic. That's the real secret. You don't fight to stay disciplined forever. You stay disciplined long enough until what once felt like effort becomes your new default. And suddenly, waking up early isn't hard. It's just what you do. Saying no to distractions isn't painful. It's just how you live. Doing the hard things first isn't impressive. It's expected. This is what most never reach. They stop when it's uncomfortable. They give up when the results are slow. They think struggle means they're not meant for it. But struggle is the price of access. It's the toll you pay on the road to transformation. And the longer you walk that road, the more the pain becomes power. Because now you know you can endure. You can persist. You can adapt and still rise. And when you know that, you become dangerous. Because now, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not the opinions of the small-minded, not even time. Because you understand something most never will. You are not running out of time. You are running out of excuses. Every moment you delay is a moment you could be growing. Every day you hesitate is a day your future self is begging you to step up. Not next month, not Monday, now. Because your life isn't waiting. Your purpose isn't waiting. And the world, broken, tired, desperate for real leaders, isn't waiting. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more fire. More hearts fully alive. More minds fully owned. More humans who have walked through the dark and decided, I will bring the light. That is what self-mastery leads to. Not just achievement, not just wealth, not just freedom, but a life that is aligned, unshakable, fully owned. A life where you wake up and know you are becoming everything you were born to be. And when you live like that, when every breath, every step, every decision is aligned with purpose, you stop chasing life. You embody it. You walk differently. You speak differently. Not louder, not flashier, but with weight. Because people can feel when you've faced yourself. When you've gone to war with your weakness and come back wearing scars instead of chains, and those scars, they become your credentials, not your excuses, not your shame, but your badge of proof that you did the one thing average people never do. You stayed in the fire until you became the flame. Look at the legends. Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't just speak change, he lived it. He walked through hatred with grace, faced bullets with courage, and died not as a man who followed the crowd, but as one who led a movement. Or take Nelson Mandela, locked in a cell for 27 years, stripped of time, family, freedom, but never his dignity, because the prison walls couldn't reach his mind. He mastered himself in solitude so he could master the moment he was finally set free. That's what you must understand. Freedom is not the absence of obstacles. It's the presence of mastery. And the cost of that mastery is everything you're clinging to that's keeping you small. You will have to give up blame. You will have to give up needing validation. You will have to give up the version of you that needs comfort more than growth. But in return, you get power. You get peace. You get the ability to walk through life, not as someone begging for direction, but as someone who creates the path that others will follow, the path that doesn't exist until you step forward and build it. With your choices, your focus, your pain, your perseverance. Because once you've mastered yourself, no one can master you. Not fear, not failure, not rejection, not even success. Because that's another truth they won't tell you. Success without self-mastery is a prison in disguise. You'll get the car, the house, the applause, and still feel empty. Still feel like a fraud. Still be trapped by the same old patterns that brought you there. But with mastery, even if they take everything, the money, the position, the title, you remain whole. Because what you built wasn't on the outside. It was inside. Unshakable, unbreakable, unstealable. And it's from that place, that inner fortress, that you finally create real impact. Not just achievement, legacy. Because the world doesn't change through noise. It changes through example. One life fully lived. One soul, fully owned. One human, fully awakened, who reminds everyone else of what's possible. And the path to that awakening, it's not outside you. It's not in the books. It's not in the gurus. It's not in the motivation videos or the weekend retreats. It's in you, in your choices, in your rituals, in your decision made again and again to become the kind of person who no longer needs to be pushed because they've become the push, the force, the catalyst, the fire that ignites others just by being who they are. That's what self-mastery gives you. Not control over others, but full command of yourself. And with that command, you rise from the ranks of the reactive into the rarest of all things in this world, a person who knows where they are going, a person who walks into rooms with silent certainty, a person who no longer runs from fear but uses it as fuel, a person who does not need to be told what they're worth because they show it in every step they take. And the best part? That person, that force, that unstoppable version of you, they've been waiting, watching, listening, knocking at the walls of your old identity asking, are you ready yet? Ready to stop pretending, ready to stop delaying, ready to stop blaming life for what you haven't claimed, ready to step forward, plant your feet and say, this is who I am, and from this moment on I am no longer available for less. Because that's the final key. Mastery is a standard, not a goal, not a wish. A line you draw in the sand and never cross backward again. And when you do that, when you declare with your soul, your body, your habits, your silence, that average is dead and buried, that mediocrity has no place here, that everything you do will now be done with intention, intensity, and integrity. the world moves. Not immediately, not easily, but it moves. It shifts. Because now you're not hoping anymore. You're becoming, and nothing is more powerful than that. Because this is the moment it all changes. Not when you get the money, not when you get the recognition, not when the world finally applauds. It changes right here, right now, in the silence of this decision. The decision to no longer abandon yourself, to no longer wait for the perfect time, to no longer dilute your power just to keep others comfortable. From this moment forward, you don't chase freedom. You earn it with every disciplined breath. From this moment forward, you don't wish for greatness. You become it through sweat, sacrifice, and self-respect. From this moment forward, you don't ask life for what you want. You stand, shoulders squared, eyes locked on your vision, and you take it. Not from arrogance, but from alignment. Not from entitlement, but from embodiment. Because you've become the kind of person who deserves it. You've killed the victim, buried the procrastinator, burned the excuses. And now, what rises from the ashes is the version of you that was always meant to lead. You won't be perfect, but you'll be unbreakable. Because the goal isn't flawlessness, it's fortitude. It's the refusal to stay down, the resilience to keep rising, the fire that refuses to go out no matter how long the night lasts. And one day, not far from now, you'll look back on this moment and realize this was the line. This was the shift. This was the birth of the real you, not the one they told you to be, not the one the world tried to box in, but the one who rose, who chose, who mastered the only thing that ever mattered, yourself. So, walk. Not slowly, not cautiously. Walk like you were born for this. Walk like the chains are gone, like the fear is spent, like the world has finally met the real you. Because from this moment forward, you are not average. You are unstoppable. And no one, not doubt, not fear, not failure, not even your past, can take that from you. Not now. Not ever.